This video is sponsored by Squarespace. So, you clicked on this video. We know why you're here. You want someone to fall in love with you. Not sleep with you, not text you back, actually fall in love with you. And not to fucking worry, I'm here to help. Step 1. Gather intel on the person that you want to fall in love with you. So why are we gathering intel, Crystal? Because, as Sun Tzu once said, he who stalks wisely wins silently. Or at least I think he said something like that. Something Sun Tzu probably. Because number 1, it helps build context. If you want someone to fall in love with you, you need to know what kind of person they fall for, right? So like, are they drawn to sad girls with bangs? Are they drawn to gym guys with mommy issues? You can't really be this person's dream person. You can't really make this person fall in love with you if you don't know the dream's shape, right? And if you know the dream's shape, you can therefore, number 2, control the optics. If you know this person's around, then you can calibrate how you appear to this person, right? You can dress slightly cooler if you know they're into like fashion, if they're like fashionable. You can be sporty if this person's into sports. And also, number 3, we're gathering intel so that you avoid landmines. For example, if you know their ex's name, if you know what their ex looks like, you don't want to accidentally dress like this ex. You don't want to act like her or mention that one band that triggered their breakup fight, right? You don't want to do these things. We're trying to avoid landmines. Number 4, gathering intel helps you find shared language. You don't want to just tell this person that you love movies, right? You want to reference the exact movie that they posted a fan edit to on their story last year, okay? That's what you want. Intel on this person lets you speak in like coded emotional references that feel coincidental to this person, right? But they're not. They're not. Number 5, intel lets you get ahead of the competition. If you know who this person is flirting with, who they're liking, who they're tagging in their Instagram photos, then you get to decide how you are gonna contrast that, right? So for example, are you gonna be like the low maintenance antidote to this person if they're a fucking drama queen? Or are you gonna be in a similar role to them, in a similar world to them, but like just the cooler, more interesting version? You need market research, basically. It's all about knowing your competitor, okay? Knowing your competitor in the battlefield that is love. You know how like if you're walking down a street, you notice that like all of the car dealerships are like clustered together and like all of the Chinese restaurants are like next to each other and like the electronic stores are like, you know, next to each other? That's because keep thy enemy close. This is classic economics, okay? Hotelling's law, retail agglomeration. As the economist Friedrich Hayek said, in a perfectly efficient market, even desire obeys spatial logic. He probably said that. Allegedly, maybe. I don't fucking know. The point is, if you're physically closer to the thing that this person already likes, i.e. you dress like their ex, you hang out with the same people, you know, you echo their taste, then the desire from this person itself will start to drift your way. And finally, number 6, we're gathering intel because this is battle, okay? This is fucking love, this is war, okay? And to enter the field with no knowledge is to walk blind into a storm. Sun Tzu probably said that. If not, he should have. Okay, cool. So now we've established you're gonna gather intel on this person. Okay, so how do you do that, Crystal? How do you do that? A great question. Couple options. Number 1, you could ask their friend. You're probably not gonna do that, you fucking loser. Number 2, you're gonna stalk their social media. This is probably what you are gonna do. Look at their Instagram. What pictures do they post? Stalking someone's personal Instagram gives you a lot of insight into like the kind of person that they are, right? Like it at the very least will tell you how private this person is, which you can tell from like how many followers do they have, you know, how many posts do they have. If they're shy, which you can guess from if they post pictures with them in it, if their face is in their pictures, what kind of posts do they make? You can figure out what they like. What do they post pictures of? How do they curate their aesthetic? Is there an aesthetic on their Instagram? Is it shit posts? Is it memes? Or do they post nothing at all? A picture is worth 1,000 words, so use Instagram to your advantage. Cool, so stalking someone's personal Instagram gives you a snapshot understanding of like how they themselves curate themselves, right? So the next step is to get a snapshot of this person on the day-to-day. So less curated. Best way to do this, check what tagged photos they're in on Instagram. This often gives you more context about this person because it's not like what they post about themselves, right? It also gives you a better idea of like the type of people that they hang out with, you know, like their wider circle, their community, right? You're gonna want to know this shit. This will give you way more context in their actual feed because it's not what they're choosing to show you, right? It's what other people are choosing to show about them. You're gonna get a better idea of how they move socially. Like, do they go to parties or do they just like mysteriously appear in like group hikes once a month? You know, like you get the vibe. Really important note, you should also be looking at who is tagging them in these pictures, right? Like for example, do they only get tagged by like the same 3 people going to fucking birthday dinners? The people that are tagging them are probably the closest circle, right? It's probably like friends, coworkers, probably not coworkers, friends, best friends, relationships, situationships. And that leads us perfectly into the next step of gathering intel, which is stalk the social media of people that they follow. You're gonna start with the inner circle here, okay? So like you have to pick the people in the tagged photos, which like tag them repeatedly. You know, pick the people that show up repeatedly, especially people that are in their tagged photos, so like on their feed, and also these people that tag photos of them, okay? So like mutually on each other's feeds. You should also look into people that comment regularly on your person's Instagram posts. Find this inner circle of people, click through, go down their feeds. What you're looking for specifically when we're gathering intel is you want to look for, number one, old group photos where your person, your beloved, isn't the main subject. And number two, you're really looking for photos that your person has been soft tagged in, okay? So like what is soft tagging, Crystal? This is when someone posts a picture of this person, so like the person that you love, like your beloved. This is when they post a picture of this person, but there's no at directly, right? So they're not like tagged directly in the photo. So like there's no at username in the caption, there's no tag in the photo itself, but your person is clearly in the photo even if they're not actually tagged. Okay, so at this point you might be like, but Crystal, if they're not tagged in the photo, how the would I find this photo? Because it's not going to be in the tag section of Instagram, and there's no indication, and you would be right? So like this is where you're going to get into fucking unhinged territory. You really need to use your like feminine instincts here now. I sound fucking crazy because in order to do this, right, you basically need to like intuitively commit and guess which of these people that your person is following, like on this person's following list, you think would potentially post them, and then just go through their feed and do it manually. So like if you're using this tip, you really need to be like in the trenches. You need to be fucking committed, okay, to a random extended person's Instagram feed that they fucking follow, okay? Use your intuition. Use your feminine intuition. Bring back use of the sixth sense. You know GeoGuessr guy? This guy. GeoGuessr man? He might be good, but can he match the wretched, unhinged nature of a highly neurotic woman in love? I didn't fucking think so. And since we're on the topic, I don't want to fucking see any comments on this video talking shit about me being unhinged and giving you bad tips, because you know what? You clicked on a YouTube video titled How to Get Them to Fall in Love with Me, and now you're getting mad that I'm giving you unhinged tips when clearly you're unwell for clicking this video, okay? You clicked on a video with this title, and therefore I'm being punished for giving you exactly what you want, okay? I'm like fucking Prometheus for real. I'm fucking Prometheus. You wanted the gift of fire, you asked for divine knowledge, and now I'm being disemboweled by the same people who begged me to light the match, okay? Every day the ego comes back and rips me open for the crime of handing you a flame that you prayed for just to be blamed when it burned your fingers. But anyway, point is, if you're really committed, like clinically committed, scroll back far enough on their mutuals page and look for the soft tags, okay? No username, just their arm, you know, just their arm in the picture. If you want this person to fall in love with you, okay? If you're in love with this person, you would recognize their arm, okay? You would recognize that weird mole on their arm, okay? Just their arm, their back, their fucking silhouette in a mirror. You should know these things. And if you find a soft tag, right, then congratulations, you've unlocked something, because soft tagging is often where exes live. This is because of a couple of reasons, okay? Number one, it could be that they were hard tagged back when the relationship was public, but now that they've broken up, they've taken the tag off of it. Or number two, they were soft tagged in the first place and the relationship was like emotional but maybe secret, and maybe this person hasn't moved on, okay? Therefore, they've not taken the post down, but like the picture is up without them being tagged. In other words, intel. And if the advice in this video doesn't work, if it all goes tits up, another thing you could probably try is make yourself a website, you know, personally advertising the fact that you're actively looking for love. This is my personal promo page, please love me, etc., etc. Or like just a website for your career if you're locking in to distract yourself from the other failing aspect of your life, which you could easily do with today's sponsor, Squarespace. For those of you who don't know, except how could you not? You fucking what? You know Squarespace. You watch YouTube. Squarespace is the best platform online to create a website that fully fits your online brand or business. The best part of it is their huge library of website templates, which covers literally every use case, even if you're making a website as a full advertising space and portfolio for you as to why you would be an incredible person to fall in love with. If you actually make one of these, please message it to me or like put it in the comments below. Please do it. This is unironically. Please, if you actually do it, please link it below. And obviously, you should give the website a catchy name, right? Like, I am on my knees, please love me.com. I don't know if that's taken, but that's a good one for you if someone wants to do that, which is also something that Squarespace domains can help you with, because it makes it incredibly easy to find the best name at a fair and all-inclusive price. So if you're ready to get started, then go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and then when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/crystal to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using the code crystal. Other things you should look into to gather intel besides soft tagging: if you find a birthday post with too much text, these are fucking gold mines. So if you see a birthday post tribute, right? Even better, a birthday post tribute with like a huge caption, you've found a diamond, okay? So like rambling captions, the captions might say shit like, I don't even know where to start with this one, or you've been there for me in ways that I can't even explain. These rambling birthday posts, they usually include some of the following, okay? So like a blurry photo from like years ago, at least one reference to like growth or like being proud of this person. If you find someone that posted one of these birthday tributes of like this person, right? This other person, they fucking know everything, okay? They know everything. If you find one of these, you need to click on this person's feed immediately. Go to their page, check the highlights, check old posts, who they tag, whether your person appears in like birthday collages, other years of birthday collages. Find this person, click around. That'll lead you to the next step, which is stalk the tagged photos of the people that this person follows. So this is the step that most people skip, right? Because you're not as fucking crazy. You're not like ingenious and crazy as me, right? Which is why it's so powerful, which is now you're not just looking at curated posts of like your beloved, your person, right? You're looking at what other people associate them with. It's like a friend of a friend level, you know, like the extended universe. Because at this point, right, you're like 2 connections down. Therefore, you're gathering like ecosystem level data, who they know, who they used to be. And if you do this right, if you took my tips in the gathering intel section and you did it right, by now you should have at least 2 nicknames that your beloved responds to, the names of like 3 ex-flatmates. You should know this person's favorite musician, their favorite food. Don't stop going down the rabbit hole until you've found an X. So the X can either be a soft launch or a hard launch. This is the ultimate stage of the recon phase, right? Like if you find an X. So how do you identify whether or not someone is an X? This is what you're looking for, okay? Number 1, recurring usernames and old comments. If you find an obvious comment which indicates it's an X, so like, oh, I love you, then fucking great. Odds are you're not gonna find one of these. Most likely you're gonna see more of number 2, which are like slightly coy and like maybe suggestive flirtatious comments. Comments that say things like, great pic, who took it? Or shit like, still mad about the coffee thing, lol. These types of like thinly veiled comments are usually from exes. Another tip, you should check old stories and also like old highlights. You should check highlights with vague names like 2020 or like 2019 or random or us. If you see legs, a blurry hand, someone's shoe in frame, that's the fucking soft launch, okay? That's a fucking soft launch highlight that you've come across. Screenshot these, cross-reference. I could go on in this section, but at this point I'm afraid I'll get fucking recruited for OSINT, and I can't do that, okay? Because I have a YouTube channel, I have fans to disappoint. Again, this guy, GeoGuessr, he might be good, but his skill is practical, admirable, masculine, and you can't train this kind of moon-fed intuition that just says, I just feel like this girl's his ex, and then it is his ex. So at this point, you've done your research. You've gathered evidence, you've learned everything, so now it's time to start infiltrating. It's time to get into this person's head. Establish mental real estate. So you just gather all this intel from step 1, right? So now you're gonna take this intel and you're gonna study it. Read up on stuff and this person likes, and then start name dropping mildly obscure lore about it. Oh, they like Formula 1? You're not a fan. You just think that Lando Norris's 2021 qualifying lap in Sochi was kind of underrated. See, now you're in. Now this step, right, this is gonna take some acting because you could really it up. Like if you do this shit awkward, like if you're like, oh yeah, I don't know anything, like if you're fucking weird about it, like it's bad. It's a sitcom, okay? It's sitcom bad. It's potential cringe compilation. That's a nightmare. That's really bad. You do not want that. So this is a really advanced step, I'm not gonna lie, because if you come on too strong, it's really fucking weird. But if you're too chill, you seem disingenuous. If you don't know enough, you'll get caught. But if you know too much, then it's really obvious that you've been fucking prepping this for months. It's a tightrope of casual investment, okay? Because you want to seem like you already happen to already like this thing, not like you just sprinted through 5 hours of lore videos on like 2x speed with a notepad, okay? The trick is this, okay? You need to seem well-read, but like in a nonchalant way, but not too nonchalant because then you seem fake interested. You need to seem like convincingly into it, but not in a way that like eclipses their interest in the thing, okay? So like ideally you agree with them, but you also slightly challenge them. Like you're a spark to them, not mirroring them. The best thing that you could probably do is like actually get into it, not for them, okay? For the bit, okay? For the art of the long game, just like get into it, because as Sun Tzu once said in he probably said, I'm paraphrasing, okay? But like to study the scroll is wise, to become the scroll is dangerous. The point is, let this rewire your brain chemistry, okay? Like, let the hobby live in your bloodstream, okay? Let it be real, or like fake it so well that you forgot which one it is. That works too. First impressions matter, right? You need to look hot enough to be remembered by this person, but not so hot that they assume that you have options. What you want to do is cultivate intrigue, but intrigue with emotional approachability, right? Like, cultivate desire and being hot, but if you're too hot, then they'll get insecure or scared of you. You don't want that, right? You want to be in like the sweet spot of being interesting looking and desirable, but not so interesting that they think that they don't have a chance with you, okay? Like how you would approach a cat, where you need to act like disinterested so it doesn't make it so easy for the cat and they're like fucking not into you, but also not so aggressively cold that they give up and they emotionally imprint on someone else with like warmer eye contact and like a lower threat level, okay? You don't want that. You want to be in the sweet spot. The goal here is like calibrated disinterest, okay? You're broadcasting, I might like you, but also I have a rich inner world which you might never access. You want to feel like a reward, not a prize. A puzzle, but not an escape room. You're trying to be like a low friction enigma, but also not so low friction that there's no friction to the cat. I mean to you, because you're not the cat, you're the human trying to get the cat. I hope you're taking notes, by the way, because I'm really giving you my deepest, darkest tricks right now. The point I'm trying to make, class, is that this is about controlling the optics, okay? You are interesting looking, desirable, but not intimidating, okay? Attractive enough to make them wonder, but not so attractive that they assume you're unattainable and they spiral. You're basically trying to hover in that like 7.55 to 8.31 zone of hotness, okay? That is the perfect sweet spot. That's the vibe. That's where you want to be. The exact approach will vary a little bit depending on like the type of person that you're trying to attract, right? But generally, you should be aiming for romantic liminality. You want to wear something that says, I read poetry, but also I cry on public transport. So what are some outfits that do that? Well, you're someone that wears eyeliner or mascara, then I recommend getting the not waterproof version so it looks a little bit smudgy and you get that like sexy smoothie eye look, okay? Or like you look really interesting when you cry, or like if you're outside and you sweat and your sweat gets in your eyes and it smudges a little bit because it's just that hot out. You know, the humidity, right? The humidity, use it to your advantage, okay? I like it personally. I like this look. It works on all genders. Easy, cheap, do it. It's like just disheveled enough to look like you didn't really try, and it like makes you look mysterious and well-read and sexy, and I like it. It's the best makeup look. Also, it's the makeup look. It's the only makeup look that I personally know how to do. So I'm biased, but I think it looks good on everyone. Another thing you should be doing, evaluate your current demeanor. How you dress, how you walk, what your voice sounds like. Do you have a sexy voice that would make this person fall in love with you? You want to sound relaxed, right? And you want to sound cool and unaffected. That's why I'm speaking to you in my low, sexy voice. But also, I want to be able to show my personality around you, but not too much personality. Just slightly enough personality, not too much. What does your accent sound like? Do you have a good accent? Do you have an accent that could make someone fall in love with you? For example, me personally, I have an issue because of my accent. I sound American. Everyone thinks I'm fucking American. Fuck my life. Americans think I'm American, but just not American like, oh, you're like, not from my state. Like, not my state American. Also, if you're someone that gets really loud when you get passionate about something, keep that in mind. For example, me in my personal life, one time I was talking to this guy and he was French, and he was like, oh, so you're American, right? And I was like, no, but I get that a lot. It's because of the accent, right? And he was like, oh, it's not because of your accent, it's just your demeanor. Which is possibly the worst thing that anyone has ever said to me in my entire life. How do you want to come across personality-wise in front of this person? So again, you're trying to cultivate intrigue, so you should be mysterious, but not too mysterious. You want this person intrigued, but like not worried that you have a body in your freezer. You should reveal a tragic backstory, but also make it endearing. So you should do that, right? You should be mysterious, but at the same time, you should be yourself. And this might seem contradictory to the other steps, right? You might be like, Crystal, how am I supposed to be mysterious, but also be myself? And that's true, right? But also, it's because you need to be yourself because you want to make sure that this person sees the true depths of you, right? But also, don't be yourself if being yourself is like really fucking weird, and like if you actually think that this person actually won't like this part of yourself because you only perform normalcy for other people and therefore you can't fully be yourself. But also, why would you want to trick someone into loving something that you're not? So be yourself, unless yourself is bad, in which case don't be yourself. Be yourself, unless yourself is unbearable. Then you should pick 3 socially acceptable traits and just LARP those instead. You should make them feel seen, but not too seen, because if you get it too right, they'll get scared, or you'll like remind them of their ex, or their dad, or both. So you should give them like a flash of insight, just one, right? Like just one insight, like enough to make them think, holy shit, this person really gets me. But then you pull back, you change the subject, or you let them chase the feeling. You let them think that you saw something in this person that they hadn't even named yet. Make it easy for this person to love you, but not too easy, because people want to feel like they earned it, but not work for it, okay? Like, you need to be low maintenance, but high reward, okay? You have to be chill, but also devastating. Emotionally stable, but like in a way that implies that you used to be unwell, but like now you're fine, okay? Like now you're better, okay? Be funny, but like also don't try to be funny, because if you try to be funny, that's repulsive. Be accidentally funny, but also in a way that still showcases that you're really smart and you're an intelligent person, but also no, don't be the kind of intelligence that threatens this person. Be like the kind of person that makes them say, wow, and then like immediately change the subject, because that makes you seem cool and interesting and unique, and you're like, wow, it's so hard to know what you're gonna say next. And if at this point in the video, you're like, this is insincere, Crystal, like this doesn't seem right, okay? No, it's not, because you're not hiding who you are, okay? You're just editing, okay? You're just editing to give yourself tactical advantage, okay? Combat advantage, again, as Sun Tzu probably said. He said it, ooh, he who knows the heart of his rival need not draw his blade, okay? I think he said that, but again, how the would you know, okay? How the would you know? I'm Chinese. Are you gonna dispute me or like what Sun Tzu said in the comments? I'm sure the optics will fucking look great for you, okay? I didn't fucking think so. Get just use fucking psychological warfare techniques. You're halfway through the video. You're invested. You fucking subscribe to my channel if you're here and learning or watching, learning. I'm losing my mind. I'm not losing my mind. I'm fine. I'm calm. The class is still in session. Just use psychological psyop techniques. Psychological psyop techniques. That's fucking psychological operation techniques. So what you want to do, right, is like just use like a little like Pavlovian flirting techniques, okay? Like use what Ivan Pavlov has discovered to your advantage, okay? Right? Like classical conditioning. You should start wearing a specific scent or like a color or a song, I don't know, a specific thing, okay? And then if you wear it or like play it or reference it enough constantly, the idea is like this person will start associating that thing with you, right? So like if they see that thing in public or like if they smell that flower in public, they'll think of you, and that's not coincidence, okay? That's psychological tethering. That's getting pulled from their mind pals, okay? That's what you want, okay? Other techniques that you could try, why the fuck not, okay? This next bit is so fucking good that I shouldn't even be giving these out for free, okay? Like I just dropped diamonds in my fucking videos for free. You should be paying me for these, okay? Giving you true psychological warfare tactics right now, okay? Leave for free, okay? You should be paying me, okay? Go check out my coffee shop right up there, down there. Buy a flowchart, send a tip, okay? Show your appreciation. Thank you. Link up there, also down there. But if you don't want to do that, at the very least, subscribe to show your appreciation, okay? Okay, the next tips will depend on if you're trying to attract a girl or a guy, okay? So like if you're trying to get a girl to fall in love with you and she's indicated that she likes astrology, i.e. she's asked you for your star sign, she asked for your natal chart, then the best thing for you to do is to like text her at these timestamps, right? Like 11:11 or like 3:33, etc. Because she is gonna be the type of person that like sees the timestamp and she's gonna think that it's fate, okay? She's gonna think it's a sign from the universe, like the angels are sending her signals that like you're the one for her, okay? So like use that to your advantage. If on the other hand you are trying to get a guy to fall in love with you, then you need to cater to like the male brain, okay? So you should say something that'll like stroke the problem solving monkey part of the male brain, okay? So for example, you should ask him to show you something that he's weirdly good at and like not useful skills, okay? Like I'm talking parallel parking, folding dumplings, identifying fake Jordans, building IKEA furniture without like looking at the instructions, okay? Like shit like that. Watch, be impressed, give a compliment, ask him to fix something, okay? Like anything, like even if you know how, just let him talk. They just like to talk. Hold eye contact. This is emotional foreplay. So those are my specific tips to get into like a guy's head, right? But to be honest, just give them like any compliment at all, and they will think about it for like the next 7 years. And they're like, just give any sincere compliment. Bonus tip, use magic. If you can, why not? You could try manifesting. Why the fuck not? You're already watching a YouTube video about how to get them to fall in love with you, okay? So like you clearly want this a lot. You're probably a little desperate, okay? You clearly give a shit about this stuff. Just try it, okay? Like what the hey? You know, do the Pinterest board, start saying affirmations, subliminals on YouTube. I don't know, make them fall in love with me subliminal, okay? Be his dream girl, you know? Or better yet, have you considered an ancient love spell? Like not a TikTok one, okay? Like something that your ancestors would have done, okay? I don't know. It probably works better if it's culturally specific. So like pick Google love spell from your culture, okay? So it's like spiritually optimized. You have to act like you don't care that much, but like care just enough that they still feel like they're being chosen by you. But not so chosen that they feel like they've won, okay? Because no one falls in love after they think they've won, okay? You have to stay just like slightly out of emotional reach, but you have to be hot, okay? But not so hot that you're intimidating. Quirky, but not annoying, okay? Text back fast, but only when they're losing interest, and be vulnerable, but only in the context of a charming anecdote with like a neat emotional arc with no lingering trauma, okay? Because you're trying to be someone that's healing, but also deeply broken in a way that makes someone want to stay with you, and you need to feel like a challenge, but also a reward, but also not like a prize, because prizes are earned and you want to feel like something that was discovered, okay? Like accidentally on a rainy street on a Tuesday in like a hidden street cafe that they will never find again. And most importantly, you need to remember to do all of this all at the same time without ever letting it show. Not in your face, not in your tone, not in the way you pause before you text back, that you are thinking about any of it, that you are calculating, that you've rehearsed the way you laugh, or that you've picked your outfit 3 times, that you've thought about this all so thoroughly that it stops being instinct and starts being theater. And even then, you have to act like you don't care. Like it's just who you are. Like it all just happened to work. Because unlike what Sun Tzu said, because fuck what Sun Tzu fucking said or didn't fucking say, okay? Love is not war, love is not strategy, because love is actually, in fact, it is a ballet. The Bolshoi, actually, something impossible. And it's about beauty, poise, something that looks effortless, something that glides. But not once, not for a second, can the audience see that your feet are bleeding through the satin, that your toes are splintering inside the shoe, and the ribbons are slicing your skin. And you're smiling anyway, because that's the job. That's the art. But at the same time, remember, they're not falling in love with you. They're falling in love with the experience of you. Did it work? I don't know. I think he liked me at first, when I was charming, controlled, scripted. You give him something carefully wrapped, a version of you that smiled at the right moments, that never lingered too long in silence, that always said, I get it. But then I got tired. I stopped smiling at the right moments. I said something too sincere. I got weird and scared and real. And you forget to be strategic. And you forget to be pretty. And you forget the script. And you start improvising. And suddenly the stage lights were too bright. And I think they just started to pull away. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe I just imagined it. Because I always do that. Maybe they never even moved. I wish I could tell you this worked. I wish I could end this video with a smug smile and be like, see, that's how you do it. But I don't know. I did all of this. And maybe they loved me, or they said they loved me, but did they love me, or was it the performance of me that I carefully cultivated which they loved? And you can't be loved if you're curating a character, but you can't not curate, because you can't walk into someone else's love raw and unfiltered and expect to be received with open arms. That's not how most people process new emotional information, okay? At the start of anything, especially something romantic, people rely on quick judgments, okay? They're looking for patterns, they're looking for familiarity, for a version of you that fits into something that they already understand. And if you lead with too much too soon, then it doesn't read as honest. It just reads as unstable, okay? You look overwhelming. You look fucking crazy. Sometimes even manipulative, even if that's not your intent. So you have to start with something digestible. You put forward a version of yourself that's curated, not fake, but focused. You emphasize the parts that are easy to like, the parts that feel coherent. You keep the rest in your back pocket until the trust is there. That's not deception, it's pacing. The goal is that eventually you can reveal more of yourself and they won't flinch. But the reveal only works if the connection is already strong enough to carry the weight of it. Love is theater. You have to enter the stage right. You have to set the lighting, set the mood, adjust the costumes, deliver your first line with confidence. Because love, especially in its beginning stages, is not built for chaos. It's built for choreography. People fall in love with how you make them feel, not the dirty reality of your unfiltered existence. And so you play a role. And maybe it works. And then what? I don't know. Would he have touched my face like that? Would he have stayed? Or were they just thanking the actor for their good performance? This video is brought to you by my acting agent. I've not booked a role in 2 years. I was in the fucking National Youth Theatre of Great Britain. Helen Mirren was in the fucking National Youth Theatre of Great Britain. I am a YouTuber now. Thank you. This video is satire.